Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Thursday, July 2nd, 2015, around 7:54 in the evening in Billerica, Massachusetts. It was another nice day, perfect day, low humidity and sunshine. No 90-degree weather for a long time, and if Boston area waits 34 more days, they would tie a record for the latest date that a 90-degree day was ever recorded for the first time in any calendar year. You have to go back to August 6, 1906 for the first 90-degree day in Boston. Could Boston area make that record? It's possible because they set the snowfall total in 1 year. Hey, we could break records again this year. But we'll wait and see about that. I got that information from Cindy Fitzgibbons. Anyway, some news to report, sad news to report in the world of professional football. Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders, who played for the Lions, passed away at the age of 68. And some NBA news, Dwayne Wade's not going to Cleveland. He re-signed with the Miami Heat 1 year, $20 million. I could never see Dwayne Wade leaving the Heat. I think he opted out of that deal just to get this more money. And getting more money will be Portland Trailblazers star Damian Lillard. He signed a 5-year contract extension worth $120 million max deal. That's about it on the news. My third and final video blog of subject of the night is my personality profile. Tonight, personality profile is about a actor, game show host, comedian, game show panelist, Richard Dawson. Richard Dawson, it was a late actor and game show host who was famous for being on the Match Game and eventually hosting Family Feud, the original host, for over 10 years. Richard Dawson was born and he grew up in God's Sport in Hampshire, England. He was born with the name Colin Lyle Elm, and at the age of 14 years old, he ran away from his mother and father to join the British Merchant Navy, and he pursued a boxing career. He didn't have too much of a good boxing career, so he was discharged from the Navy, and he started a comedy career, and he had to change his name. He couldn't use Colin M because that didn't sound like an actor's name, so he used the name Dickie Dawson. He performed in comedy in England and stuff. Then he moved over to the United States in the 1950s, and he legally changed his name to Richard Dawson. And then he was in comedy and at clubs in the Los Angeles area for many years in the 50s and early 60s. And that's about the time that Richard Dawson started to be in some movies. He appeared in the movies King Rat and The Longest Day, and then he guest starred in several classic television series, including The Jack Benny Show, The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Outer Limits, and The Alfred Hitchcock Hour in the 60s. His main role in the 1960s was appearing in the classic TV sitcom Hogan's Heroes, playing Corporal Peter Newrock from 1965 through 1971. That was a 6-year comedy, Hogan's Heroes, on CBS. That was Richard Dawson's one of his most famous roles that got him a lot of fame and stuff during that time. Then when Hogan's Heroes got canceled in 1971, Richard Dawson guest starred on several shows, including The Odd Couple, The New Dick Van Dyke Show, and Laugh-In. And this is around this time that Richard Dawson started to appear on game shows. He actually hosted a local game show in the late 60s for Los Angeles television called Lucky Pair, which was produced by Bob Barker, famous for hosting The Price is Right. Then Richard Dawson appears as a panelist on Can You Top This? And I Got a Secret, and he appeared as a date a couple of times on The Dating Game. In 1973, Richard Dawson signs up to become a panelist for the Match Game and he sits in the bottom row, the second seat. And he was real popular because when they had the super match, every contestant always pitched Richard to match the answer for a possible $5,000 win. And Richard Dawson became very, very popular and stuff in that role and stuff. And Match Game got real popular, became the #1 daytime game show. And Richard Dawson also moonlighted as a game show host in 1974 and 1975 for Masquerade Party, which was produced by Monty Hall and Stephen Haydos Productions. It was 3 celebrities who had the identity of a celebrity guest dressed in heavy makeup and stuff, and they all played for charity and stuff. And in 1976, Mark Goodson and Good Bill Todman were developing a new game show that was going to be called Family Feud, and they were deciding who was going to host it. There was rumors Jack Notch, Jeff Edwards, and William Shatner were all under consideration, but Richard Dawson had something in his clause in his contract to renew being a panelist on Match Game, and he says if that contract got renewed, that the clause says he could have the right to host the next Goodson Todman game show, and that turned out to be Family Feud. Family Feud premiered in July 12th, 1976 on ABC, and it was a questions and answers show with survey questions, 100 people surveyed and stuff. It was kind of like Richard Dawson used his comedy humor and stuff like that, and it shoot it up to the ranks as a top game show on network television. Eventually became a top game show on syndicated television and stuff, and Richard Dawson was so popular, and he always would kiss the ladies and stuff, wishing them good luck. But around this time, he still continued as a panelist for Match Game. Then he got disinterested in doing the Match Game because of Family Feud being popular. All the other panelists on the show, including Charles Nelson Riley, Brett Summers, Fannie Flagg, and others, didn't like Richard Dawson's attitude. Even Gene Rabin didn't like his attitude backstage about him being less interested in the Match Game. By the summer of 1978, Richard Dawson left Match Game, but he didn't miss it because he was getting awards for winning for Family Feud as best game show host and stuff, and Family Feud was getting more and more popular than ever before. It made Richard Dawson over $2 million a year. That's amazing for a game show host at that time. Also, Richard Dawson several times guest hosted the Night Show with Johnny Carson in the late 70s and stuff, when Johnny Carson would go on vacation or stuff on this certain dates. In around 1980, when Johnny Carson threatened to retire, there was a rumor that Richard Dawson was going to be named the new host of the Tonight Show, but Johnny Carson signed a new contract, so that was all put and stuff. And Family Feud continued to get popular well into the 80s and stuff, but eventually, Richard Dawson just had bought a few producers from a set of Family Feud and stuff, and plus they changed the format of Family Feud of adding winning more money, but that took away the humor from the show, which was a critical part of it. And by 1985, Family Feud was canceled from ABC and syndication, and Richard Dawson basically for the next few years did not do anything of note. But in 1987, Richard Dawson appeared as an evil game show host in the movie The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and his playing an evil game show host was pretty good. It was pretty awesome. He got back into the spotlight. I saw that role of the evil game show host Richard Dawson was playing. It was awesome and stuff. I thought he could have a career as kind of a character actor, as a kind of a villain and stuff. The next year, Richard hosted a pilot for an updated version of You Bet Your Life, which was famous for Groucho Marx in the 50s and stuff, which they updated at one time in 1981 with Buddy Hackett would flop, and Richard Dawson hosted, applied for NBC. It was decent, but NBC passed on it. And for the next several years, Richard Dawson was happily in retirement. He met his wife Gretchen on an episode of Family Feud in 1981. They eventually got married and they had a kid together. And by 1994, the Mark Goodson passed away and his son Jonathan took over. And this Family Feud, which was revived in 1988 with Ray Combs, was doing pretty good, but like by 1994, it wasn't doing great. Like Jonathan Goodson wanted Richard Dawson back as host and stuff. I've heard Richard Dawson balked, but Jonathan like convinced him to do Family Feud again, and Richard Dawson agreed upon it, and he came back for the 1994-1995 season of Family Feud, which they made some changes to it. It was more computer graphic and with this set, and plus it was only for members to a family, in which he did not kiss any of the ladies because he made a deal with his young daughter that he would not kiss any woman besides her mother and stuff, which was Richard Dawson's wife Gretchen, and they agreed. This version of Family Feud only lasted 1 year because it was, preempted a lot of stations because this is when the O.J. Simpson trial happened. Plus Richard Dawson was kind of outdated and stuff. He lost an age because he was kind of irrelevant for so many years, basically being retired. In 1995, Family Feud was canceled and Richard Dawson retired for good. He appeared a couple of times doing voiceover work for Fox for World's Funniest Game Show moments and stuff like that, and he lived a quiet life until like the late 2000s, and when he was diagnosed with esophagus cancer, and he quietly passed away in June of 2012 at the age of 79. And Richard Dawson probably was one of the most famous game show hosts in the 70s and 80s and stuff. And basically, once like Family Feud was over the first time, he basically at a young age basically kind of retired because he didn't want to do anything. He probably made so much money from like the Family Feud and Hogan's Heroes and Match Game that was set for life and stuff. And coming back to Family Feud for 1994 wasn't that great because he felt out of place in it. I think the television stations just wanted Richard Dawson just to do it one more time, but he was he was not in the best of form of hosting it and stuff. And his other work with Hogan's Heroes was pretty funny and stuff, and guest starring in other shows were great, but he's no more as a game show personality than an actor and a comedian and stuff like that. You could see Richard Dawson hosting Family Feud on Buzzer and him appearing on Match Game on Buzzer as well. And that's about it on him. Tomorrow's personality profile will be another Match Game personality, the announcer for it for many years on the CBS version and the NBC version, Johnny Olson, who was a legendary game show announcer for so many years. He was famous for saying, "Come on down." Plus tomorrow, other video blogs will be the top 10 patriotic professional wrestlers of all time and the Burlington Mall in Burlington, Massachusetts. Lots of great video blogs coming in the coming days and stuff. Beginning Saturday for July 4th will be the reviews of the WCW and NWA pay-per-view to get Great American Bash starting in 1988. Most of the days I do a Great American Bash review, there won't be a top 10 video blog. Maybe there'll be a couple of them scattered about, but it won't be. Maybe there'll be an extra video blog on those days. And there'll be more personality profiles, Match Game personalities until July 14th when that goes on summer vacation. But it'll be back August 1st with the personality profile of the WWE Hall of Famer Terry Funk. You egg-sucking dog, you Dusty Rhodes. You egg-sucking dog. Well, I'll be back tomorrow, and have a good night. And like I always say, at the end of these video blogs, keep calm and on with Julie, Brett, and Guy. And in the words of Sean Lucia, get out. Bye.